I'm Bambi Francisco for Vader TV, the network for innovators. Well, mobile marketing is expected to reach $1.5 billion this year. That's double from last year. That's according to eMarketer. Well, hoping to get a piece of that is Mozes, which is a company that helps musicians create promotional campaigns on mobile phones. And joining me to talk about Mozes is Dorian Porter. He is CEO of Mozes. Dorian, thanks for joining us.
Nice to be here.
Did I get that right? It helps musicians create these promotional campaigns?
Yeah, Mozes is really a service that lets anyone come in and create campaigns for the mobile phone. But we've been very focused and very busy in the music industry, so it's a great way to describe us right now.
At 4,000, I saw 4,000 music labels and artists right now using your service. Tell us exactly how people use it. I mean, I've actually known Mozes since I think 2006.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's still, the idea is the same. People text a certain musician, band into their mobile phone, and then they get updates. That's basically the way that people are using it.
I think that's a big element. I think the idea behind Mozes is that the world's going to be very interactive. So when we launched in April of 2006, we did it with O'Reilly's Maker Faire, and you could walk around and you can get more information just by using your mobile phone to text in a keyword and get information back to your phone. And at that fair, an artist, a band, used Mozes to do a similar kind of thing. They were on stage and they said, hey, to get more information. And as we started to take that concept forward and really started to focus on bands, we got a lot of great feedback about using the tool to not only be a way for people to get information in the moment, so use their mobile phone to get the information, but then to connect with that artist, so maybe join a list that allows that artist to continue to message with that fan. Over the last couple of years, we've certainly made strides to do even more things, so now bands will use us live in venue for contesting, so they might do a backstage pass contest or front row seats, so they'll tell an audience to text in something for a chance to win a backstage pass. And then part of what the artist and band is also doing is building that ongoing relationship with that fan. So
they really have to be proactive and sort of encouraging people to text.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's not a passive thing, and that's why I guess it's called marketing, because we're going to support marketing efforts. Mm-hmm. So if you're a marketer in the old days, you would use flyers and shout from the top of your lungs to pay attention and to take something with you home. Mm-hmm. Part of the big belief about Mozes is that if I'm at the local Starbucks and someone wants me to sign up for their gardening service, I got to pull off a little number and be on my way and take this little slip of paper or business card home. And we believe that the mobile phone is probably going to be central to a lot more interactivity than that. So the idea that you can use your phone to connect with something that you care about right in the moment has been with us from the beginning.
So you have 4,000 artists and growing, but how many users do you have?
So we've touched about 1.5 million U.S. cell phones in the last year and a bit, just a little over a year, okay. About half of which have some ongoing connection through Mozes to an artist. So, depending on how you define users, we've got about 700,000 unique U.S. cell phone users who are continually receiving updates from their favorite bands.
And do you get paid every time that they get an update or send a text messaging? I mean, it looks like it's free to a user besides the fact that they have to pay for their text messages. Yeah,
so we'd use the standard rate texting for an end user or consumer. And then our business model is to charge the bands or the artists for certain platinum services. So we do have a free offering for bands right now. A band can come in and start using it, but as you grow your volume and as you grow your reach, and certainly larger acts and labels that have more sophisticated needs and want to do more stuff with Mozes, that's the heart of the business model, is to really charge the marketer to use the service. And I think for a service where you've got a band reaching, they're just starting out in their garage and they're reaching 15 people, we're not going to collect as much money from those guys as we would from larger labels, larger artists who are really using the mobile phone as a key marketing strategy, and then looking for the value we can create, but also pay for some of that value.
So tell us a little bit about those customers, your biggest customer, your top, most active.
Yeah, we work with about 50 labels. Universal, Motown, and Republic Group is a great customer that we launched with. They've got about 40 acts, some of which are rock bands like Hinder, and then some R&B and hip hop acts like Akon, and they've been fantastic. We launched with them last April. They were really our first, I would say mainstream label. But now we're working with a lot of the Sony BMG labels, from RCA to Zomba, Zomba has some of the most amazing acts out there, from Justin Timberlake to R. Kelly, and so our ability to kind of reach from big and small, and then we've got, of course, as you mentioned, 4,000 bands, many of which are just indie bands joining the service and executing.
How do the big labels pay you? And do they pay you like one? Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we charge service fees.
Typical,
yeah, we charge a monthly service fee. It could range anywhere from $2,000 for a smaller label, and it would range upwards from there. So over the music market, you get scenarios where you have really large labels, and then you have smaller labels and management companies.
You want the large labels. What's the highest?
Yeah,
what are they paying you?
What's that?
That's got to be more money. So what's
yeah?
what are
There's only a few of them, so I
month?
don't usually disclose like the exact pricing plans around for the large labels, because it really depends on how many of their labels are going to use it, how many, what's the overall usage going to look like, and you price according to that. So. I'll tell you one thing, what I believe about what we're creating, though, is, music is really our first vertical. We've got the solution that we're taking to market for others. And when you look at the music industry, I don't think anyone would say that I was sane in building this business around a service model for bands and musicians, because bands and labels are recognizing this, are essentially media, and as they kind of grow their audience, they're looking for ways, as song revenues decline and as it becomes more difficult to sell digital music, they're looking for alternative channels of revenue. And I think ultimately Mozes is going to have to not only collect some fees where we add some value, so whether they're monthly service fees or text messaging fees for marketing purposes. If the environment is such that they can't convert that into commerce sales, which we're going to help do, there's lots of ways still for music to sell. Digital, it's not all dead. Digital music, it's growing super fast. It's just not as growing as fast as CDs are falling.
That's what you're going to try to do, is try to enable the
enabling commerce. So the more we can tie to direct commerce, there's opportunity. And then I think there's advertising-based models, because bands and whatnot are recognizing kind of their media power. They're looking for alternative models. So Mozes will help fill that out. And I think for us, because we have a much bigger vision about beyond music, we can see revenue models coming from lots of other industries where that turbulence in business models isn't as active.
Right. Like you said, you might want to get to sports athletes, and I mean, are you sort of this kind of the new age or creative artist agency where like you're basically a promoter and?
Well, we're certainly a service. I mean, I think to the extent that technology or a service takes away from, as a platform for communication. But I think if you look at a CAA or you look at a William Morris and you look at the value add they provide, or you look at the value add that a label provides or a management company provides, I don't think the service is ever going to replace, that human capital around that. But as a service, I think we can help those folks, whether they're at talent agencies or management companies or labels, to really accelerate their efforts in kind of the new world of marketing.
How, let's see, you're charging the artist, you're charging the promoter.
In many cases, yeah, exactly.
Okay, but that's basically the business model. The carrier doesn't get involved because you're driving all the text messages, and there's no relationship there with the carrier.
Yes, typically for standard texting, carriers are happy because you're generating the volume. They'd like to see their numbers going up.
Any of that?
We don't, no. And I think there's lots of conversations. I think it's possible as you grow volume to record levels. Like I've understood that AIM has collected money from carriers because they generate a lot of mobile instant messages that get charged as text.
Okay, so you have to hit a certain level before they
it's
actually
possible,
start
although
paying?
I think that's going to change. I think what you're seeing at the macro level is more standard rate plans. As those standard rate plans become the norm, the carriers are going to lose the incentive to give away that revenue because volume's actually going to harm their economics, not help their economics. And so I would never want to build a business off standard rate messaging and sharing with a carrier.
So are you making money today?
Are we making money? Certainly not cash flow positive, no, but we do collect revenues and we're growing our revenues.
Okay. What are you doing?
Revenue-wise?
We
don't disclose our revenues.
Okay. You generated, you just raised $11 million.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's your valuation?
We don't disclose our valuation.
No, you're not making this interview very fun.
I know, sorry.
So what are you going to do with that $11 million?
We're going to invest in our service. We're going to, continue to show how technology can create a really amazing web service that is the heart of a mobile marketing platform.
Okay.
So for us, it's about, ensuring that we've got the right development resources to build a really advanced market-leading platform. That remains an important focus for us. And then certainly on the sales and marketing front, the kind of business development front, that's a major area of investment as we kind of grow our messaging and grow our ability to not only service our existing customers, but also to grow the customer base.
And just a last question about competition. How are you different from Say Now? That looks a little bit like offering somewhat
Sure.
a similar service.
I think Say Now is offering a service that allows an artist to come in and start communicating with their fans using voice, which is very effective. Moses really starts off with the vision that the world's going to be interactive, and we are going to be a trusted service to really allow marketers on the one hand and participants of campaigns to engage. And that's a really broad vision and a broad mission for the company. Mm-hmm. And so when we differentiate ourselves, we say, how are we going to build the best platform for marketers? So that not only includes voice, but it includes text messaging and building those campaigns and really understanding those interactions. It includes tying it back to the web and really giving a dashboard back to the artist or to the label or to the brand or whoever is starting to use Moses to really get a sense of their overall mobile marketing. And so from that point of view, I think we're a broader service, and I think we're taking something to marketers that really sets the stage for this new idea that the mobile phone is going to be really important to my marketing efforts, whether that's tied to traditional media or whether that's tied into other initiatives that they're doing, their digital strategy. And so taking that perspective versus a service that says, we're going to connect fans and bands, via voice, I think potentially, very different business models. One, I would say, is almost more of a media model. We're going to generate a lot of traffic between bands and fans, and we're going to share that revenue that we get from advertisers in that conversation, with our bands. And I think that's a very different model. We see the world a little bit differently. We see the world that we're going to be a marketing service. We're going to provide the best tools to the marketers, and we're going to grow those tools so that they can really take advantage of mobile phone at the heart of all of that interaction. So
they're doing ads, and you're sort of just taking the upfront kind of fee to handle those campaigns.
Yeah, and I think you'll see us. We're building a network too. I mean, we build a channel for the bands and the fans, and as I mentioned earlier, I think bands are going to be looking for alternative means of revenue.
Yeah.
And I think that's a piece of it. But overall, I think the real difference is the ability to kind of create a community around voice and an artist. We don't see as powerful as giving artists and bands and labels and management companies a true service that's going to drive kind of this whole new world, or what the mobile phone is kind of an engine for connecting with the fan and being able to create ongoing connections. Okay. Not just voice, just beyond voice as well.
Beyond voice, okay. Well, we wish you the best of luck, Dorian.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Dorian Porter, who's the CEO of Mozes. I'm Bambi Francisco.